Welcome to Focus Schools podcast, Leading for Impact. My name is Brett Bishop, and I'm proud to have been a member of Focus Schools for quite some time, and really excited today to be joined by my good friend Kathy Crum. How are you today, Kathy?
I'm fantastic, Brett, and I'm very excited because we're also joined by one of my all-time favorite people and educators, Tracy Gage, who's we're going to be learning from today. So, Tracy, can you tell us a little bit about you and your role, past and now? Just give us a little bit of a snapshot of yourself, please.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Tracy Gage, and I am in Springfield, Illinois, at Springfield School District 186. I was born and raised here in Springfield, so it's really nice to be able to give back to my community in this way. Just a little bit about my background. I was a teacher for 5 years, resource teacher, classroom teacher for 5 years, resource teacher for 5 years, building administrator, PA for 2 years, principal for 18 years. And I'm in my current role, Director of School Leadership in Avid on the district level, and I've been in this role for 4 years now.
So it was in several of those roles that I've had the privilege of working with Tracy, but most recently, Focus Schools has been working with Springfield, and I have been able to work with and coach teams at the central office level. And one of the things in the Focus School framework is that we have a really strong curriculum around developing a targeted PD plan. And that is a very important thing. And it is particularly hard at the district level to develop a targeted PD plan. We all have PD plans, but to be truly targeted and to really follow the components of that plan, which include building expertise, hoping that you change practice, hoping that you can monitor progress so that you'll see impact, and communicating relentlessly. So those 4 components, taking that to the district level around just a couple of things, is the work that we've been trying to do. And I like to say some of the parts of the framework and the tools we have, they can be the how to whatever what you decide to do. So I asked Tracy to help us think about this, because I did work with all the teams at the Springfield 186, and they all did a really fine job. And I would say that Tracy was the pioneer and her team, and they are exemplary. They were exemplary in the fact that they really stayed targeted and focused. So Tracy, can you tell us a little bit about that journey? And like you said before we started, it started 4 years ago, and you're still in it. So go ahead and give us on that.
Yeah, I would love to tell you about it. I started this position 4 years ago, and I didn't really expound on my title, and I'll do that now just because I feel like it connects to what I'm about to tell you about the targeted PD plan. But Director of School Leadership, in that role, I support and supervise 7 principals throughout the district and their schools. And then the other half of my role is Avid District Director. So I got into this role, and I had so many wonderful ideas to do with Avid. At that time, I was in the role all by myself. I didn't have a team, and I was thinking about all these ideas and things I wanted to do. And through our partnership with Focus Schools, I was able to meet with Kathy at least once a month to just talk about my plans, how I wanted to execute them, how things were going. It was very, very important because that was my first year. And from being a principal for so long and then going to the district level, Kathy not only helped me with my PD plan, but really helps me get through a time of transition. So I did appreciate that. But as far as the targeted PD plan, when we would sit around and just talk about, okay, I want to be able to establish relational capacity in our district. I want to be able to make sure students are organized. So that's a foundation for their work. Kathy came to me one day and said, hey, why don't we try a targeted professional development plan? And of course I was like, what's that? And she started telling me about how with this targeted professional development plan, I could really build expertise, which is what I wanted to do, because that was missing in our district. Avid was part of our district, but really didn't play a large part. Mostly it was like an Avid elective course, and some elementary schools were doing it, but it really wasn't integrated like it is now. So that would allow us to build expertise. That would allow us to change practice in classrooms, monitor it. So I was absolutely on board with the idea. So we started meeting and talking about how to do it. I established some goals for the whole year. Well, we did 3 months at a time. And then we would meet and look at those goals, kind of monitor them and see if I was on target to complete those goals or if we needed to roll them over. We did that for a while, and I just really appreciated the support that she provided me in being able to meet and talk about my goals and stay on track to make sure that I got the work done. Our district, I don't think I said it, we have over 12,000 students in our district. We have 33 schools, and at the time, 2/3 of those schools were Avid, so I had quite a few schools to implement in. So having the targeted professional development plan really helps me set my goals and had a plan for meeting them.
And Tracy, you've alluded to this, but I really want to nail down the fact that even as a district leader, you started with, we're going to focus that first year, we're focused on this one thing, and that's the kids getting organized. And that was really scary for you to say, there's so much I want to do, but I really want to make sure that we get this part done first. So can you tell us how that felt and how that was helpful for you in the beginning?
How I was able to just focus in on a couple of things. Yeah. Yeah. Kathy, you're really good at that, actually saying, oh, so many things, but let's hone in on one or two. But that, yes, as far as the organizational piece, it really did help me through the avenues that I had to be with Avid teams and people from the schools, which were, we had our quarterly Avid meetings where we met with Avid teams. I met with my Avid leads. So it allowed me to have a structure to meet with the teams that I needed to meet with in order to get the work done, which that organizational piece, how we implemented that throughout the year, which was really cool because I was just looking over it, reviewing for this. But it was really cool. During our quarterly Avid meetings, each school that was Avid would bring a team of like 4 to 6 people. And that was from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And we came together as a district and established an organization, well, we called it our K-12 organizational framework that we use for students to have binders and planners and have all those foundational materials that they needed in order to be ready for learning. And we took an entire year, had discussion about how to implement it, what we needed. We created a document that is in existence now, that any new school that comes on board would be able to just look at the document and say, okay, in my grade level, these are the supplies that I need. We did that collaboratively, and I was really, really proud of that work. I mean, that's something that could have been done on a district level that just said, okay, kindergarten, you're supposed to have this. But the fact that it was a conglomeration of, 60 to 80 people that put that document together, I was really proud of that. And I don't think without the targeted professional development plan, that would have been possible.
So Tracy, I'd love for you to get a chance to just talk because, I'm a former principal as well, and a big fan of people who are educating at all levels, whether it's, school level or central office level. But I just wondered if you might talk for a minute to anybody who would be listening to this, who is in one of those roles, and just talk about, what did you learn along the way? What was the process like for you that you would either change if you did it again, or something you think, wow, it's really smart we did it that way because it worked really well? Is there anything like that you might teach us?
Yeah, so I really thought the process was valuable. I don't think that there is anything I would change. Well, let me pull back on that. The only thing I would change is I would religiously look at that plan every single month. When life gets busy and schools get busy, sometimes you sit down and you look at it, and then it's 3 months later and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to look at the targeted PD plan. Yeah. So I would absolutely positively without fail, look at it every single month. I did look at it regularly. I don't want it to sound like I didn't, but without fail, I would look at it every single month. I think that is the only thing I would change. I thought this was a very valuable process. For one, for me, implementing initiatives across the district or structures and processes across the district by myself that first year. But then the next year, I was given one additional support person, and that person was able to come in to the job and look at the plan that we were implementing. At the beginning of the year, we kind of did say, okay, is there a reboot? Is there something we need to do differently? And it really was a small tweak because we were still building the same work and doing the same thing. And when the person came aboard, her name is Nikki Harris. When she came aboard, she was able to look at the targeted PD plan and just jump right in and didn't miss a beat. And then the next year, when I was afforded another person, it was still one resource person, but they kind of split the job. And Nikki Harris did elementary, Missy Netznick did secondary. We still follow the targeted PD plan that I created my first year in this job. Now, granted, the goals in the plan have evolved, but we were still able to find it. So I feel like if you are a building leader or even a district leader and you want to create continuity and you want to create consistency, that the targeted PD plan is a really good way to do it. It really helps keep me focused. You know, in a building and district level, you have so many different things on your mind that it's really hard. I think I said earlier in the video that Kathy's really good about saying, yeah, that's a really great idea that you have. Let's hone in on one or two of those things. And the targeted PD plan really helps you do that and not just hone in, but implement it effectively and ultimately achieving that goal. And then, you know, setting another goal.
Did you have any like ways in which you varied the support you provided? Let's say Brett's a principal in your district and I'm struggling, I'm behind. Maybe I've got a really young staff. Maybe I'm new to the job. If people were struggling, did you have any ways in which you would adapt your support for them?
We did. So at this point, as I said before, we have 33 schools and all the schools are AVID except for our early learning center. But when we first started, it really was about 15 to 20 in that first couple of years schools, and they were all in different places. Our first level of support was the quarterly meetings. We really did lean on the leads and coordinators to bring teams to those meetings. And it wasn't just about presenting, you know, we're going to teach you about relational capacity. We did do that, but we also engaged in discussion to help them reflect on where they were as a team. And so we'd walk around then and see where schools were. We also provided support to the point people, the AVID point people, the leads and coordinators. They came for separate meetings and we equipped them to support their schools. But in addition to that, Nikki and Missy that I mentioned earlier, they directly support classrooms. So they would have their calendars open. Teachers can just come and sign up and say, I need help. I need you to come and model for me. So they directly impacted the classroom, which, as you'll hear me talk a little later, really is our goal in 186 to have instruction impact the classroom. But then I, as the AVID district director, I directly support the principals. So at least once a year, and then I also see them in like principal professional development. I go to them and I say, hey, how's it going? How can I support you? And we would usually walk around. So there are varied levels of support that we have for schools.
And Tracy alluded to the actual tool, which we'll have linked to this podcast. The actual tool protocol asks you questions to help you discover, okay, how does this connect with the district goals? What are the resources that you actually do have in order to do this work? If everybody could do one or two things better, what would they be that would impact everything? So the protocol kind of you through thinking through that, and then you set a SMARTY goal, and then you go on into, okay, using that information that we just thought through, what do we need to teach and how, what are the times when we have to do it, what change of practice do we want to see? And that's the thing. I think that sometimes as educators, we teach something, but then we don't give people a chance to talk about, well, what does this mean for my practice at the school? What am I going to stop doing? And what am I going to do more of, et cetera? Then how we monitor impact. Just because we're doing something doesn't mean it's working. So what's our way of monitoring that? And Tracy was talking about that, just with her meeting with her team is one way of monitoring, and they were out at schools and everything. And then what do you communicate relentlessly? Everybody knew what we're about with the Avid is the organizational and the relational capacity. Those are the two things that are really important, and schools are at different levels in that. So when you look at the whole of the tool, it really helps just guide a school or a district leader through the process of writing a targeted PD plan. And thank you for the suggestion about checking it monthly. Every 3 months is kind of what we say, but monthly's better, right? If that helps you stay on target. So
Yeah. Even if it's just a quick touch base, like where are we in the process?
Yeah. And the other thing I think is that Tracy was very transparent about sharing her targeted PD plan. Once she wrote it, then this is what we're going to do, guys. This is our plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to support you. And yeah, I believe that you, even like you said early on, they had some input and how this would go.
Well, I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed listening to you, Tracy, and Kathy discuss this. It makes me feel like I want to go to Springfield, Illinois and see it all in action. And I think it's just such a gift to anybody who gets to listen to this really well thought out work that you're doing. It's such a support when, the jobs are so hard, right? The jobs are so hard. And so when you get to hear what somebody else is doing somewhere, it's just such a gift. And I know others will be so appreciative as we are today, Tracy, of you being here. So we thank you for that so much.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you to anybody who took their time to listen to us here today and take in what Tracy has given us. And we encourage you to listen to part 2, as Tracy will be continuing to talk about the work that she's doing in Springfield. And we'd also like to encourage you to go to our website at focusschools.com so you can see the work that's going on in lots of places, including if you would like to partake in our social media pages. They are linked there, and we encourage you to like and follow so you can share and also join in and look at what other people are doing who are doing similar jobs to you and caring for kids all across the country. So thank you again for being here. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Kathy.